Hey, welcome to Texas Football Talk. I'm your host, Jeremy Lockby, once again, joined by my brother Clint. In this episode, we talk about the first 50 days of Sark. How you doing, brother?
Hey, pretty good, man. You're talking about the first 50 days. I wore this green hoodie here, man, because it feels like money on the 40 acres right now. Uh, we started off probably around Red River shootout, rivalry, what do you want to call it, after we lost that football game to Oklahoma, trying to figure out and speculate what's going to happen, over the course of the season, what's going to happen after the season. And then obviously there was speculation about Urban Meyer, who's now taking the job, head coaching job of the Jacksonville Jaguars. In trying to figure out if he didn't take the job, who's going to be 1A, 1B, 1C, so on and so forth down the road. And I think we pulled a good one in Coach Steve Sarkisian. We've kind of talked about some of the things that he's done here, but I think Chris Del Conte, President Hartzell went and talked to Sarkisian, went and talked to multiple guys about Steve Sarkisian. Probably head coaching guys, both in NFL and at the college level. And they felt really, really good about what they were getting in. At this particular point, after the last couple of months, I think me and you both feel really good about where he's gone. So kind of just going down, who he's retained. Go ahead, Jeremy.
No, absolutely. Like we felt like after the Iowa State game that a change had to be made. You had cost your ball club. The previous administration cost the ball club 2 football games in which we thought they could win. In the TCU game and the Iowa State game against Oklahoma, you were down 15 with 2 minutes left to go. Found a way to get back in that ball game and forced it overtime. But a change had to be made. Like you said, this all started with a guy that we really felt comfortable with going into the last season. But as the season drew on, and his cockiness, it led to speculation and ultimately a coaching change. Like you said, that rumors were Urban Meyer would come to Texas. We stoked that fire in December, and then in January we got our guy in Sark. And we, like you said, you're wearing green because the money is not a factor. And I'm very, very impressed with his first couple of hires. Like you said, Jay Hartzell and CDC has allowed him to do whatever he wants to do with this program going forward. And I can't be more happy about where this progress is going at this point.
Yeah, I think it, and you maybe remember the quote or whatever, the tweet that you put out, specifically about the money and specifically about him being a mercenary and going out here and hiring who he's hired. And I know I think he agitated a couple of Alabama, some Alabama guys, grabbing obviously Kyle Flood out of there and Jeff Banks, probably one of their best recruiters out of Alabama. Now tight ends coach, special teams coach. First special teams coach to get over $1 million. So they realized what they needed to do, and they realized they need to go out there and get the best guys, and they realized they needed to go out there and spend the money to do it. And they've done that, with the guys that they've retained in Andre Coleman and Stan Drayton. Look at all the recruits in the 2022 class, and maybe that's relationships they've already built over time with the guys that have already committed. Obviously, we got some wide receivers already committed. Now you have 2022 running backs committed at this particular point, a 2023 running back committed at this particular point. So it's really who they retained. And then who they went out and hired on their staff. We had talked about it really at nauseam in a couple of our shows, a couple of our live shows, that it's everything from really high school football coaches to NFL guys that have obviously coached in NFL with Sarkisian and Flood, as well as national championships at the collegiate level. It's a who's who of coaches. Some of the coaches I never thought of, never really heard of. Pete Kwiatkowski until you get him as a defensive coordinator, and then you start reading 247's sites from all the way up and down the West Coast, and listening to Washington guys and listening to Washington YouTube guys that cover the Pac-12. And I think he was a steal. He was a steal because Jeff Banks went out and recruited him. Jeff Banks didn't just recruit. He's not recruit. Obviously, student athletes went out and recruited a defensive coordinator who really I don't think anybody had a shot or thought about him leaving the West Coast. Man, your thoughts on these hires, man?
Absolutely, like you said, there's no doubt why the running back and wide receiver position has already been filled. There's no doubt why the quarterback position has already been filled. Sark, Drayton, Coleman already have relationships under the past administration. When you bring a guy in like Steve Sarkisian, who brings that Alabama offense, and guys were like Armani Winfield and Evan Stewart were able to see that offense do what they did this last year under his leadership. But yes, like you're talking about, like this team and this program, I'll call it a program has not left any stone unturned. When they're talking about getting the best coordinators, the best analysts, the best position coaches, they are going coast to coast, just like they do with recruits, and trying to figure out who the best guy is to lead this team. And these guys watch practice film. They watch game film. I really believe at this point that the guys that they've hired on this staff were brought here for a reason. Because I think Steve Sarkisian, under that Nick Saban and Pete Carroll tutelage, understands what is necessary to bring to a university as far as coaches who can, one, like we said, it's three factors: identify talent, recruit talent, develop talent, and then once they get to the 40 acres, send them to the first round, second round of the draft, because it's twofold. You know, you have to understand the player, you have to bring the player in, and then you have to develop the player, and then ultimately on game day, coach the player up to be better than the level that he thinks he can achieve. So, yeah.
And get to that point. You're a couple of other guys. You know, Brandon Harris, who's obviously assistant running back coach, now is director of recruiting. Being able to keep him, is a big deal. Obviously, getting Chris Gilbert, the ex-Lancaster high school football coach out there in the DFW area, to come in and be your high school relationship guy, high school relations guy, big deal, man. But then obviously he's taken what he's learned at Alabama and put together having a director of player personnel, having a director of recruiting, and kind of bringing in as many people as you possibly can. To be in that, to identify that talent, to be able to recruit that talent. And I think that all starts with, being personable and relatable, so that people want to come work for you, but also want to play for you. And I think that is something that we haven't seen over the last 4 years is a head coach that has been personable and relatable in press conferences. And it's really, really good place to be when you can sit there and listen to your coach or want to listen to your coach. It's just something that we haven't had over the last 4 years, man.
No, and he's opened up relationships with past players. He's opened up relationships with the fans. Just a picture yesterday was him and Casey Thompson painting a house. And then you go on, you see Michael Huff is there. You see Bijan Robinson is there. So it's current players, past players, the current administration, all selling the same thing. To say we want to be a community. We want to. He's so relatable. Like I said, he goes and paints houses. The next second he's on a recruiting trip. The next second he's on Longhorn Network. I think he's very genuine. I don't think any of it's fake. I don't think any of it's planted, and that's real. And I think it comes from probably his past transgressions. You know what I mean? Like he's been at the bottom, and now he understands what that feels like, and he is reaching out to like I say, past and former players to be a part of this program, reaching out to the community, reaching out to alumni, reaching out to everybody, saying, hey, come be a part of this program. All gas, no brakes. And really meaning that. Yep. That hey, it's just not a slogan. We really, really mean it. Like we're the Sark After Dark is all gas, no brakes. Like he never stops recruiting to the program. He never stops, acknowledging the program and what it is. And like I say, it really meant something to me to see a picture of him, Casey Thompson, Jared Wiley. I'm probably going to miss a couple of players, but Michael Huff, like going to paint somebody's house. Yeah. It's phenomenal. It's really, really phenomenal. And I don't think the last coach, and I know the last coach and the last administration didn't understand the importance of that, of reaching back to the fan base and saying, hey, we're just like you guys, and enjoying that piece.
Yeah, I think you named alumni. You named, obviously alumni, previous players, these guys that he's reached out to. But I think he's reached out to the fans, and I think that means a lot. If you win your fans over, that's a big deal. Especially this early on. And you're talking about Sark After Dark and all gas no breaks, all these hashtags that come along with this social media. And I've probably seen Sark probably tweet or retweet more over the last couple of months than we've probably seen the entire coaching staff tweet over the last 4 years. And to me, that's does he probably have people that are sitting behind his phone, kind of, taking care of that whole social media?
Yep.
Absolutely. But what you see is when he does it, Banks does it, Gideon does it, Joseph does it, Drayton does it. They all do it back to back to back. So it's an ongoing thing. But that gets the fans involved. It gets the fans involved, and it creates that momentum, both in recruiting, but getting ready to go play football in the fall, man.
Especially in an environment where you don't have COVID. You don't have the ability to go be coach at the local Pluckers or Buffalo Wild Wings or the steakhouse. You can't see them out in public or a pep rally or this, that, and the other, meet and greet. That's important to say, hey, we're still here. We're still, grinding every day. 100%, man. When you can't have those face-to-face conversations in recruiting, like the virtual visits and being active, like supporting and understanding that whole piece means everything to me at this point. Like I said, especially in the social environment we're in right now.
Absolutely. And I think, and like you said before, I think it comes back to being really, it's genuine. Nothing's forced. Nothing's forced. He is who he is. He's going to be who he is. And he's a people person, which really leads us to our last thought in this last 50 days, which we've talked about, obviously through, if you haven't watched our commitment corners or had an opportunity to watch our lives, we talked a lot about recruiting because obviously that's the pillar of any program, and getting the best recruits and developing the best recruits and getting these guys from the 40 acres to the first or second round of the draft is absolutely important to the long-term, really the long-term,
stability and progress of the program.
Progress of the program, right? Absolutely. And being able to go out there and get coaches that can nationally recruit, but also go out there and get the top tier guys in the state of Texas, man. So far, he's been able to do it, 2 months in and with 7 commits in the 2022 class. And I think 1 commit in the 2023 class. And me and you've talked to, that there's a possibility that you could probably see the end of the scholarships probably somewhere in the middle of summertime somewhere. And you got guys that are trying to come in and get a scholarship. That's kind of where the momentum's leading at this particular point, man. Your thoughts on his recruiting prowess and who he's hired to really go national, but also get these guys, all these top guys in the state.
No, it's easy. It's easy for guys to recruit when they have rings on their fingers. It's easy to recruit when they've sent players to the NFL, like a Kyle Flood, a Jeff Banks, himself, with their quarterbacks that he's been able to lead over the last 20 years from his time at USC and Alabama. It means something. It means something, especially, like I said, proof is in the pudding. You got to have hay in the barn. You got to be able to show kids, especially in this time when they come see campus, but they understand the totality of the University of Texas program and name, image, likeness, and the reach that it has. But at the same time, progressors are talent. Like you said, he kept an Andre Coleman around. He kept the Stan Drayton around because they've got Ezekiel in the NFL. They have a young kid, Bijan Robinson, who's probably going to be a Heisman Trophy winner. Andre Coleman has that ability to bring great receivers into this program, like a Jordan Whittington, a Jake Smith, and groom them. So absolutely, they've left no stone unturned. They're going to go coast to coast and present every player with an offer. Unlike the last coaching staff who only wanted to, I don't know the term that you use, but committable offer. So they only wanted to offer a kid when they knew they were going to get committed. Again, every time you throw a line out there, somebody might grab it. A fishing analogy. So if you see a great player, offer that great player. And like you said, it kind of leads to an arms race where they're racing to get that 4th or 5th wide receiver scholarship, or that 2nd or 3rd running back scholarship, or that 2nd or 3rd quarterback scholarship. But yeah, we got offers out all over the place. I really feel like this team is going to go far when they start getting those OL, offensive linemen to start committing to this class, the 22 class. But yeah, like you said, they let no stone unturned. They're getting Texas kids by the numbers. Still throwing out like you said, the offers to the West Coast, the East Coast, trying to cement their numbers. But very happy with this.
We're absolutely. We're a few weeks from obviously spring ball, which is obviously going to lead into summer conditioning and into the fall. Like you said, the proof is in the pudding. Right now, the Kool-Aid is getting sweeter and sweeter as the days go by. Obviously, with his staff, especially when you feel confident with the staff that you got. But obviously, wins mean everything. Developing talent means everything moving forward. And I think we have an opportunity to really do special things coming this year. I know we and you just kind of wanted to put out the first 50 days of really where this started at and kind of where we're at this particular point. Obviously more to follow on Texas Football Talk as we get through really spring football, kind of outline, position battles and who we think is going to be the starting, obviously a starting 11 on the opposite side of the ball, starting 11 on the defense side of the ball, and then go ahead and talk too deep moving forward. You got anything you want to add before we get off of this?
No, I'm excited I'm excited about the first 50 days. Again, like you said, we're going to start when spring ball starts. We'll definitely start talking position battles, and once we get intel from the University of Texas, getting to watch practice film and of course the spring game, we'll probably be down there. Yeah, just getting out and about now that this whole COVID pandemic it's kind of not been completed, but at the same time, with the state opening back up on the 10th of March, hoping to get out to watch 7-on-7s, spring practice for high school football teams going into the fall, getting down to the campus and watching this team play is exciting for us. Just like you said, just ready to get it started, man.
Yeah, and without a doubt, if they allow fans in the stadium in the spring football game, I will definitely be at the spring football game. I'm pretty sure Jeremy will probably meet me there. We try to make it a family event each and every year. We don't go to a lot of football games during the season, but definitely spring football game is definitely one we'll be at. But hey, we appreciate you listening as always. You can find us on Twitter at TX Football Talk, on Facebook at Texas Football Talk, and on Instagram at Texas Football Talk. Appreciate you listening. Please hit that thumbs up if you like the content. If you have not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. We appreciate you as always. Hey, we're always on Twitter, man. We're always interacting on Twitter. So if you want to DM us on Twitter or just kind of chat with us on Twitter, we're there damn near 12, 13 hours out of the day. But we appreciate you listening as always. And y'all have a wonderful one. Welcome.